is off the chain. That is off the chain, y'all. It's gonna be awesome.
Hey everybody, it's Astro D. Love and relationships, that's my specialty. But I love throwing some flavor and simplicity onto learning astrology. I hope you all have been well since my last video that I put out. So I wanted to make sure that I went over some things today concerning the houses. So there's a debate that I keep hearing from, some fellow astrologers that, people are feeling a way about being friends with somebody or dating somebody with planets in hot spots. And what do I mean by hot spots? I mean your 12th or your 8th house. What do you do? I think the 8th house is nice. The 12th house is more of a debate. But I want to just sit back and I wanted to kind of talk about how that works when it comes to astrology. For those that feel like, oh my God, this person's in my 12th, or oh my God, this person's in my 8th. I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, number one, that's a very hard question to answer. And number two, is that really necessary? You should never, base compatibility just on one thing. Just like in my video where I talk about doing it with just sun signs. That's not going to work. And you can't really do it just based on house placements. In my personal experience, though, in my life, though, this is me. I have found that people with a lot of planets in my 12th house, it's not a very good mix for me. It does something. And it never worked out. I got probably maybe one friend that has planets in my 12th, and she's been standing the test of time. She's cool. You notice, people will say something like, oh, something about Virgos. I don't like Virgos. I can't do Virgos. Now, they're not completely wrong. They know what they are compatible with. They're not completely wrong. What I believe is happening is that person's Virgo energy. So we are not just one sign. Nobody's a Virgo. They have Virgo in their chart. Their sun is probably in Virgo. We are all the signs. That's the bad rap that we get with astrology. Is well, you can't just judge me on one sign. No, I don't do that. So I think that person that's saying that they don't like the Virgo person, maybe Virgo does fall in a funky area for them in their chart. Maybe they're a Libra ascendant and Virgo falls in their 12th house. Now, when I talk about the 12th house, what is the 12th house? It's a house of technically undoing things. It's the house of self-sabotage. It's the house of the things that we personally cannot decipher quite. We can't put our whole grasp around it. So a lot of times when people have those planets, what they're doing, their intentions towards us, we're not very clear on. So if those are good intentions, they may not feel like they're getting the appreciation that they deserve. But if it's rough planets, or if it's poorly aspected planets, then whatever that person is doing that's not for you is difficult for you to see. It's like, oh my God, but she is my butterfly. You thinking, oh, but she loves me. She's amazing. She would never do that to me. And they are just talking about your ass. They are dogging you from the side. This is why this is controversial. Not all the time is the 12th house a bad house. It's also the house of our dreams. It's the house of our private life, our private fantasy life. These might be some of the people that'll take you on a private island or take you on a cool ass retreat. So you can't, it's just doing it by one way, you can't do it. Now, let's say you have a rough planet there in your 12th house. So that energy could be heavy on that other person, but you're already experiencing that sign in its roughest. Like you got a Saturn-Mars conjunction in your 12th or something like that. I think those situations make it a lot worse sometimes because it's like, I'm fighting this person, but I don't even realize how I'm creating issues or how I could be holding them back. That might be a tough one. But to say just because someone has planets in your 12th house, that you're going to dismiss them or you're going to dump them, that's a disservice, just like doing it with the sun signs. I definitely think you should look at how those planets are aspect. Now, I know there's astrologers out there that will totally disagree with me, and some say, no, just don't mess with people that got too many planets in your 12th. Now, the 8th house, like a lot of people get excited about a lot of planets in the 8th. I used to be one of them. Get so excited, right? But if you got to remember, the 8th house is not just a sexual, intimate house. And you want soft planets to soften up that sexual intimacy if someone's planets are falling in your 8th house. You don't just want to get excited. Oh, yay, they got all these planets. They could put you in an institution. They can bring up a lot of the psychological issues within you that you are, I hope you're doing the work. If you're not doing the work, they will catch you by surprise. Okay? They will catch you by surprise. So the 8th house, the 12th house, sometimes the 4th. I think the 4th is nice. That feels like fam. You know, even when it's rough, even when you're arguing, it still feels like you might be arguing with a cousin or arguing with somebody in your family. But so it's really that 8th and 12th house that gets real funky. The 6th house, it's not that bad either. I used to get really down when I would see a compatibility, like you like somebody and you're all excited. They got a bunch of planets in your 6th house. But do not dismiss the 6th, because that is a regularity. That is a routine. And I know a lot of people want people regularly in their lives. So discrimination on houses. Do it to your discretion. Be careful with it. Like I said, I prefer to be very careful with people that have a lot of planets in my 12th. I think that is something that you could look into it, deal with it like that. Take caution. You know, get a third eye to kind of see what's going on, especially if it's a stellium. A stellium is when there are 2 or more planets in one sector. All right? Not two planets in one sector is a conjunction. 2 or more is considered a stellium. Now, that is a lot of energy. Now, if you got a whole stellium in my 12th, I can't see any of you. You know, you trying to bring me flowers and roses. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You angry, like, what you mad about? Like, what are you angry about? What happened? I'm so angry. You don't see me expressing myself. No, I don't see you expressing yourself at all. You're in my 12th house. Okay? I'm trying to talk to you. Okay, well, I didn't really hear you that well. I didn't realize, oh shit, you were trying to say something? You were saying something? I didn't even know you were saying something. Or, you know what? If you don't hear me talking, I'm going to go talk about you. I'm going to go talk about you, and you won't even know. You won't even know because you can't hear me in the first place. Positive aspects, they help your dreams. They can be helping you under the table, and you don't even know that they're helping you out. Maybe they're just a giver, and they want to give. It's the house of sacrifice, too, as well, self-sacrifice. So, you know, you put a planet in there, it's really, and that's what sacrifice sometimes is about. I think like sometimes when we give and we don't expect anything back, not even the acknowledgement, you know, that's the highest form, I think, of giving sometimes, when you don't expect anything back or you don't care. You just get the joy in doing it. And that's why 12th house is also the house of charity, too. You could do a lot of charity in the 12th. So, you know, if you are the person with the planets going into somebody's 12th house, consider that. Just know, like, hey, you know, a lot of my giving might not be recognized, but I just want to give to this soul. All right. And if you are the person that's a 12th house person, make sure that you are hearing them clearly and you're acknowledging them for everything that they're doing for you. And if you do that, I think it could be a highly spiritual, beautiful journey with this person. It doesn't always have to be bad. Like I said, some people will say it's horrible. They will undo you. They will self-sabotage you. I've experienced that. I have definitely experienced too many planets in the 12th being sabotaging, and I had to catch it. You got to catch it. You got to catch it. And even when you catch it, you don't even realize, like, did I really catch this? Am I doing this right? Yes, you're doing it right. There's a feeling that you have that you can't put your finger on that shows that it is not working, and then you have to pay attention to your intuition. Because I do feel like 12th house energy is subconscious. Like, you won't ever hear them talking about you, but you'll have a dream about it. Like, you'll have a dream that person is talking about you, or you'll have a feeling like, you know, when you go to bed, or when you're in your private, or when you're meditating, it'll come to you. Don't trust this person. But when you're with them, it doesn't seem like anything's wrong. So it gets weird like that in these astrology streets. If I'm trying to give you guys better backgrounds, but I just wanted to hurry up and make some videos. So I just jumped on my Mac and I'm just like, let's go. Let's get these videos popping. Everybody's been hitting me up. If you have some topics that you want me to discuss, or got a question, I'm really starting to answer questions now. Somebody had asked me this, should I date someone with a lot of planets in my 12th? And I was like, I'm going to make a video about it. I'll make a video about it. So leave it a comment in the description if you have a question specifically about this topic, or about planets and houses, something like that. And I'll do a video on it and answer your question. If you want to learn more about the houses and compatibility, make sure you grab my book, ABCs of Astrology, A Guide to Relationship Synastry. And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about at all, but you just like my lipstick, make sure you get my first book, ABCs of Astrology, A Beginner's Guide to Becoming Your Own Astrologer, which will also be available in audiobook, which is also available in audiobook. So audiobook is coming for the second book as well, though. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you follow me on Instagram as well at AstroDee5. And take care.
AstroDee, y'all, was off the chain. That is off the chain, y'all. It's gonna be awesome.